Hey, and welcome back to the Talos Principle. Last time we kind of got interrupted because my cam died again, so I kind of had to end the recording session. But I have been kind of excited to finally, now today, really get back to the puzzles, because now we had like 2 episodes where we talked a lot of stuff, about like a lot of stuff, and there's actually one more thing that I want to talk about. So, this is like a really weird thing. There are 2 moments in my life where I start really thinking about stuff. One of them, obviously, in my shower, as we do. Standing there is always like so, I guess, enlightening in a way. But the other moment tends to be whenever I am done with like a major task. Kind of my whole brain resets, and I finally have like a lot of space in there to get my mind to, I guess, focus on other things. And like when I was finishing like an important project for my university, I was driving home in a bus, and I was thinking about one major thing. Am I being too mean to Elohim? I know, it's like a really weird question now, like 30-something episodes into the series. But I've actually been thinking about this more and more, and especially while editing like the second to last episode, where we dropped below the world, basically, like in this broken area. By the way, I don't actually remember where exactly it was. I'm gonna try to like run around and maybe even find it again. That would be kind of nice, because there was like something I wanted to... Oh, it's actually here. That's perfect. Because I actually want to check out like one minor detail in there in a second. But I'm gonna go away just because you are making weird noises. I don't like weird noises. Basically, this whole okay, let's start off with the beginning. I do not like Elohim for 2 reasons, or like technically 1 reason, which is the whole thing that he presents himself as a god of this world, and I am, the way that I am skeptic about things and the things that I have learned about this world, I quite disagree with that of sorts, right? But, there's like the whole thing that he kind of has a god complex, and I feel like there's only enough space for one god complex in the series, and I'm not gonna change, right? No, but seriously, that kind of leads to me kind of mistrusting him. That's probably a good way to put it, right? Like, it's not like I actively hate him. It's not like I... well, how do I put it? This is like such a nice screen. I just had to focus on that for a second, but right, like I do mistrust him due to that fact. But there are a few things that I've been thinking about. As we have read more text and thought more about this world, and I guess I am questioning some of my beliefs here. I don't know, that sounds really weird in the land of faith. But, and this is like a minor thing, and I kind of mentioned this before, but I talk about Elohim as a person, in a way, right? Like, I've always referred to him as him, right? I might not capitalize it in my head, but it certainly is a pronoun. I don't call Elohim it as a program or something like that. I kind of see him as like this voice in the sky, I guess. And this kind of intensified when we dropped below the earth, because in that version he really seemed distressed about like the world. Like, normally he seems like relatively calm and collected, kind of in control, or at least like seemingly in control. But like down there was like a lot of distress in a way that weirdly humanizes him more. And I kind of talked about this like some time ago, where like the idea was like, okay, imagine you have like a robot, or like a like that looks human, similar to like I forgot which button it is. It's not F. Oh wait, F3 is free cam. Like our character, right? Like looks vaguely humanoid, right? Imagine we were just like a cylinder on like wheels. Imagine that. Would we, I guess, care about the character as much as we do now with like the more human appearance? And with Elohim, we kind of have to think that, especially opposed to, like, for example, the serpent, right? Like, if we're talking about, like, the 2 AIs in this world, we have, like, Elohim and we have, like, the serpent. And with the serpent, we at least have, like, proper conversations. That's, like, one thing that really humanized, I guess, the text in the computer to me, in a way as if I was writing with someone who was actually on the other side, as opposed to someone who is the computer, in a way, at least to my understanding. And with Elohim, it's kind of like, he's this voice, and we cannot reply to him. Like, he has his voice lines, and that's kind of it. And this is like the only thing we could use to kind of interact with him. Like, most of the time when we hear him talk, it's either when I'm starting the game, which is also like the reason why I always start recording like in the beginning. And sometimes when there's like a speech by Elohim in the beginning, I just shut up before my introductions, for example. That's just like how I have to kind of deal with the whole situation. It's like the one case, and the other one is like when we try to leave the area. And in both cases, he's kind of making like these grand announcements. But like this moment where, like, I'm gonna call it like this moment of weakness of this broken world that we were in, weirdly humanized him in a way. And here is kind of the thought process that I'm having here, right? Like, we are talking constantly about like what makes a person a person. And there was also the idea that I kind of posed that we don't really know what consciousness is. And like, just to throw something out, that maybe it is related to the electric impulses somewhere, because like something has to create a consciousness and we don't know what it is. And I just said like this could be it, right? Like, I don't think it is. There's probably something more complex involved there, but like just as an idea, right? So, and there's also like a text that explicitly talks about like how Elohim is basically dungeon mastering this world, but it's just a very basic AI. But like, where do we draw the line? Is Elohim a person? Right, like I kind of just had him like in the background, and I didn't really think about him that much, right? Like, he was just someone I always have like the "oh, thanks Elohim" line that I like to say when he's just making his grand speeches. But I think it's still part of it, and my idea obviously was, and I mentioned this like when we were like in the front of the door of eternity or whatever it was called, that I don't intend on going through there, but instead go to the tower because I want my answers. But now the question is, if we assume Elohim to be a person himself, is this a fair action by me? Because to my understanding, if I were to climb the tower, I might end the simulation. Right, like I always talked about like how Elohim's like programming, I guess, kind of tries to extend his lifespan by keeping us in here. But yeah, if we're talking about like a program, that's like a very, like, it can be rather dismissive about that. But if we see him as a person, is that fair to him? I guess it's like some sort of trolley problem here, right? Depending on like how exactly the world is going to continue afterwards. Like, my theory stands that maybe once we are done, maybe like we are like iterative here, and like at some point the AI is going to be intelligent enough, and then we are going to use that one to somehow upload consciousness of humans into robots or something like that, and this whole simulation is going to end. But this is quite literally a joy problem, because either we like go into like the gates of eternity and just let this continue to exist, and Elohim gets to live, or we sacrifice Elohim by, you know, ending the simulation and saving humanity. And I guess the easiest way is to just, you know, not save humanity and like stay here in a way. I don't know, it's just something I've been thinking about. It's been on my mind ever since, like, again, I was done with like university stuff, and I really want to record because of that. Anyway, this is like something that's in the back of my mind now, and I am not 100% sure how this is going to impact how I'm going to act in the future. Just know that I'm actively thinking about that. So anyway, I wanted to jump down here again because there was like a minor thing that I wanted to try, because there were like these floating panels and stuff. I wanted to see if I could like kind of glitch out of the world some more. Whee! Also need to lower the volume on my end, because it's actually kind of loud. Ah, yes. You still speaking? Because there's like this plate, and yeah, I'm gonna keep it like a bit quieter for you, but I can climb up here. But I don't think I can go through anywhere. I mean, there's like a lot of white behind it, so I wouldn't even know where to go afterwards. Huh. Exactly. Preserve self. That's like one of the major things here. Okay, I guess there wasn't actually too much else here. And I'm sorry about like doing like very scientific about this when I just was talking about how Elohim may be a person in like by the definitions of the game. And I have to think about that. And I should probably also add something else in there. And I'm gonna call it like obviously here, right? Like to our understanding of the world, Elohim is not a person in our world. But if we make the assumption that our character and the serpents are persons of sorts, or at least one of them is, then we kind of have to extend the same thought process to Elohim. And obviously, like all of those three characters are not real people in our world again, but like this is the suspension of disbelief that you have with like games. You kind of have to meet them halfway after all, right? And there's still this scary thought of like, okay, but what if like consciousness is electricity? Like technically they would be maybe not a person, but like at least something conscious. So they should probably deserve their own rights as well. I don't know. Let's just do puzzles finally. We've talked enough. The conservatory. Okay. We have one piece here. We need some blue. Can I climb this? This looks so climbable. Well, it seems like it's a solid wall actually. Okay. As always, we are going to look for keys and the likes in all the brushes. Oh, some flowers. So there's like... Is that a broken texture? Is that like intentional? I feel like the world is actually breaking in a way that I'm accepting those like... I'm gonna call it like bugs and glitches, if you can call it that. It's just like a texture that's not fully connected as like canon in a way. And I wouldn't be surprised if it actually was intended to be. Also, because I saw the text, there was like another minor... couldn't move there for a second. Was that intentional, or did I get stuck on like a piece of geometry? Basically, my thought was that there was like another small text that I saw while walking around. Was it like over here? Just checking if I had read that before I go over again, and then I'm gonna actually do the puzzle. I just saw it like 3 times and I ignored it. Epitaph, child program, codename Awakened terminated here. We've not heard about Awakened yet, but we do know swear words. Logic, child program's positional values moved outside the parameters of the known world. So it is reasonable that we are getting teleported back the entire time. I'm gonna first read finally read this. Find a memory dump. Don't listen to what they're saying. This world is dying and it'll take us with it. You've got to find a way out. Okay. First of all, we are leaving the world constantly, right? Like, my theory is still... okay, I should probably start somewhere else. We have a version number. And this one increases every once in a while. And my theory is it happens when we die. Okay, here we have the confirmation that if you leave the world, basically that you die. So is Elohim reversing our position, or are you actually another copy? Because we can rewind time, right? Like, and to my understanding, this is still us basically dying. Is that actually a new version of us? Again, or is this like actually that we are getting moved back? It could be either one. In a way, which I think is fascinating to think about, and it's always scary. Consciousness is a scary topic. Anyway, now we've actually seen that one. It's interesting. It's actually another question now, because they did say the world is dying, and it seems like it, right? Like, especially this area seems to be so much more glitchy than the first one. If Elohim's world, and, you know, by extension Elohim himself, is going to die anyway, would it be morally more correct, or like correct in general, to, I guess, like, end them early by, you know, uploading the people in the cloud back into robot bodies? If that's even like the truth that I'm thinking of, right? Like, they did say that there's like a way to escape. So this is still my theory, that this has to be somewhat connected, right? I hope I'm not reaching too far here, like with my thoughts, but this is definitely where I would be going with my thoughts. So, like, if Elohim's going to end, like, the life of Elohim is going to end anyway, how much are we allowed to shorten it for it to still be, like, a moral thing? Especially if it saves other people's lives. And I think this is like a relatively hard question to answer. I'm gonna connect you from here. I'm gonna put you there. Do you even need that? Okay, I was checking where like those pieces are. Okay, now we have the blue one. Okay, there are probably some issues with that. Or are there? Wait a second. I'm gonna have to think about this real quick, but first of all, this is the connection. This is actually important. Which means that there should be an angle where we can send the red laser through, because we do know that there is like another gate that we can open over there. But yeah, like I was thinking about like the idea, like, can you end a life to save others? Right, it's like the whole thing that the trolley problem is kind of based off of. And there's also kind of the idea like, what's it called? Utilitarianism? I guess that's how you pronounce it in English, right? Where... Is this a good position to be in? Can I do it from here? I need to see all the three... Actually, yeah, actually what I'm doing here is correct. Let me real quick end those connectors here. Because that should keep all the gates open for now. Right, it's like an important question where like the idea is, okay, imagine you have like, I don't know, one healthy person who has like 5 organs and there are like 5 dying people and they all need like 1 organ, and this person would be like perfect donor. Can you kill them to get those organs? And you could argue, I'm not saying that I am arguing that, but like there is definitely a thought that you could argue that overall, first of all, my camera is going to die. I still don't know why Talos Principle does that. Let me try something. Okay, that didn't work. Okay. I'm just gonna continue like this for the rest of the episode, and then I'm gonna fix it afterwards. Basically the idea. Okay, you could make an argument that you can actually end those people's lives to save like more of them, right? There's like a mathematical way of thinking about that. Hopefully, people would agree with me on the fact that this is probably not how we should be seeing human life. Right? That there is technically... okay, this actually worked out the way I thought. That the value we put on human life is like kind of not as mathematically calculable. So maybe we shouldn't be doing that. And instead just, you know, let this one person live, because we cannot say that their life is like... It's actually whole idea with like infinities, right? It sounds like really weird to switch over to that, but you can't really do math with infinities normally. There are like different sizes of infinities, but if they're like in the same... Oh wait, this is the sound that I'm hearing from like the broken floor over there. But basically you cannot add 2 infinities together and get like 2 infinity. That doesn't exist. 2 infinity is still the same size as 1 infinity. This is how I like to think about it. But just my math brain, I guess. And overall, right, this is not fair, right? Like, but imagine the same situation, but you know that like the last person, I don't know, they're also currently like almost dead. And they are going to die in a certain amount of time. And now the question is there an amount of time that you are allowed to shorten someone's lifespan to save multiple others? And I think that becomes like more of a moral dilemma then, because like there's probably an amount of time where you could say, hey, this person is going to die in a few days, but they're going to be unconscious for like 90% of that, as an example. Are they still alive enough to do that? Would it still be murder? I mean, I would argue it would probably still be murder to end someone's life like that. Or like, not necessarily murder. I feel like murder has like a specific connotation about like the intent as well. But like you would still kill a person. That's probably a way to put it. And the question is, would that be worth it? Is there like an amount of time where that would be worth it? Because like also define like what it means to be alive is also kind of hard in a way, like even in a medical sense. Like generally it's like heart beating and like your brain's still working. But we generally say that's like just the brain. But there have been cases of people who were basically declared as brain dead and would never recover anymore, but that they have made recoveries basically, which is always quite surprising. So at what point are you allowed to stop? And to make the answer short, I don't think that there's a clear answer. It's just something I had to think about because, you know, there's still the thing that this world is dying. Anyway, let me quickly run around here again. Where did I even go through? I mean, this is a labyrinth, right? We have not been inside of here. I actually wanted to go around. Which way did I go like the first time? I definitely went around here, right? Because otherwise I wouldn't have found like the other garden. But I feel like I spawned into this world like from another place. Or but maybe I'm just terrible at navigating. It's one or the other, because I have definitely seen the connected piece over here, right? Like this is not part of the puzzle. And there was a gate I could open. It's this one, right? And you have like a star piece. And I can see this opening here. But this isn't even part of a puzzle. So I don't even know. Like, I can see this one. This is like what I'm kind of focused on. Because this would be the closest window I can use. If I had like a connector here, I could probably find like a way to connect to over there. I just have to find that connector. I'm gonna make like a really quick trip here around here. I do see some text in the background, and I'm probably going to miss a lot of text in this area just because it's so massive and like so full with like, I guess plants mainly. So plants and bushes and all of that stuff and all the trees. Why is there a gun turret here? Okay, so there's definitely multiple steps to this puzzle here, because I need to get to you somehow. Oh, yeah, you're definitely shooting me in the head. Okay, I at least know where I can get the connector. I just need to find like a jammer now. Or like one of the exploding balls, but I wouldn't know how to get that one like into position for it to explode the turret. But in any case, I know we only managed to do like one puzzle here, but I kind of have to fix my camera. So how about I do that real quick in between episodes, and next time I am going to continue solving some puzzles. It would be nice to actually make some progress after all this reading. Like, don't get me wrong, I love the texts, but I also would like to mix it up a little bit by actually puzzling, because I also really love the puzzles. I do love, you know, the moment when my brain does the thing and things just solve themselves basically in front of me. It's just a great feeling, and I do really like that. So, in any case, I hope you enjoyed the episode, and I wish you a wonderful rest of your day. I'll be seeing you next time. Till then, have a good one, and bye-bye.